Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm going to show you how to build this very nice interactive 3D gem with Spline, and then we're going to integrate it into a simple HTML hero banner using Webflow. So let's get into it. Okay, so here we are at the startup screen of Spline. So let's click on this button to create a new file. Alright, so by default it gives you this gray rectangle here, but we don't need it, so let's remove it. So the first thing we need to do is to change the background colors. So let's go to the right panel here and then change the color to something like this. So next step, we're going to click on this plus button up here and then create a sphere right here, and then you click anywhere on the screen to make the sphere pops up, and you can scale it bigger by holding Shift and Option for Mac. And then let's go to the material panel on the right, and then let's change this color channel to depth. And if you click on this depth channel, you can see there's a controller UI, so that you can adjust this gradient the way that you want it. So let's change the color to something like purples and pink gradient, something like this. And then you can move this controller UI around to see how it's affect the gradient. So I wanted to make it a better distinction between the two colors, something like this. Alright, and then let's go to the lighting channels and then reduce the intensity by 40, so we can have like a flatter look and feel like this. And then create another channels, and for these channels I'm going to select Fresnel. So we can have this kind of a outline lighting effects like this, and then reduce the intensity to 50, so we have something like this. Alright, so for next step, let's create another object, for this one I'm going to select this icosahedron shape. That's a very serious name. Alright, so it is something like this, so let's scale it a little bit bigger and then move it so it can cover up the sphere like this. And then let's go to the material panels and switch this color channel to glass. So now you can see that the outer shape has become transparent, and you can see the sphere inside. So now I'm going to click on this glass channel to adjust some of these properties here. So let's bump up these blurs to 30, and then increase the thickness to 20. So we can have something like this, so it's looking really nice. So next, let's go to the lighting channels and reduce the intensity to 30, so we can have like a flatter look and feel like this. Alright, so finally let's create another channels for the materials, and then for this one I'm going to select Fresnels. So you can see that it's create a very cool reflection effect going on the gem. So you can click on this buttons up here to preview it fully. So it's looking really good now, so I'm going to go with this. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is to add some animation to these two shapes. So I want them to rotate indefinitely. So first let's select this sphere and then go to this state here, and then click on this plus button to create another state. So we have the base state, which is the original state, and the state, which is the second state, where you can adjust any kind of property to create the animation. So let's select the state, and then down here from the rotation, let's adjust it to 360. And then we needed to add an event to trigger the animation. So let's click on this plus button. So it gives you this event by default. And for the event type, let's go with the start, because we want it to be triggered as soon as we start the whole scene. So for the state, let's select the state, and then down here let's adjust the duration, maybe 3 seconds. And then let's click here to preview it to see how it goes. So it's rotate, but then it stopped because it only happens once. So we can go back here and then turn on this repeat. So let's preview it. So it's rotated once, and then it's repeat to create a full loop. And this, so we can have this shape just rotating indefinitely. So we're good on this. So now all we have to do next is to apply exactly the same process to the second shape, which is an outside shape, but with the opposite direction. So let's create another state, and for this ones, let's adjust the rotation to -360, so we can have it rotate in the opposite direction. And then down here, let's turn on the repeat. And for the durations, let's go with maybe a little bit slower, like 10 seconds. And then for the transition, for this one, we're going to switch it to linear instead, so we can have this gems rotating evenly every time, like this. So it's looking really good here. You can like click and just rotate it around, interact with this, and it's looking super nice here. Alright, so now let's integrate this into Webflow. So let's go to this export panels and let's select this public URL. And then down here, we can see the bunch of different settings that we can play around with. So let's turn off the logo, which is a slide logo will appear at the corners. And this feature is only available for Pro version. Just keep that in mind. And maybe let's turn off this pen and only leave these orbits on. And so yeah, I think this is good. So let's click on update to make sure everything is being updated here, and wait for a few seconds. And once it's finished updating, let's go to this embed link and then click on this icon so we can copy the link to the clipboard. So we've kind of finished everything here. So let's go to Webflows and build a very simple hero banners. Alright, so here we are in Webflow. So the first thing we needed to do is to go to Spline and then copy this color code from the background, and then go back to Webflow and then paste the color code to the body's background here. And now we're gonna have exactly the same colors background as the Spline project. So here is the design that we're going to build on Webflow. So if you look at this, you can see there are 3 main sections that we can divide it into. So the first section could be the headers, which is this top area here. And the second section could be this hero banner with its headlights and the 3D artwork. And the third section is the footers down here. So now we can go back to Webflow and then create the 3 sections for this hero banner. So the first one, let's drag it here and then name it the headers, and then let's just drag the second section to this page. So this one we're going to name as hero, and then lastly just drag the third section, which is the footers. Alright, so we have this 3 section of the page here. So now let's select the headers and then click on these buttons. So you can see there's a bunch of PNG and SVG assets that I have already imported to this project. You can click here to import any kind of file from your computers, but I already have it here. So all I have to do is to drag it into this header section. So here's the logo, and then these hamburgers, sandwich buttons, and then this shirt icon. Now we have these 3 items being aligned to the left here, but I want them to be justified across the screen horizontally. So super easy, just go to the layouts section and then click on this buttons and then select this align option, and for justify let's select this button. And now you can see that all of these 3 items are being stretched to fill up the horizontal space, and then you can go to this layer menu to adjust the orders of the items, so we can have this logo in the middle instead. And then you can go to this spacing options to increase the margins for the on the left and also on the right of the header section. And then also on the top we can give it like 20 pixels. So now we can have something like this. So it's looking pretty good here. So now we're going to move on to the next section, which is the hero one. So for hero section, I'm going to add a grid to this section. So by default, it gives you a like 2 columns and 2 rows grid like this, but we only need 2 columns. So we can go here to remove the extra row, and now we have something like this. You can click on this button done here to go back to the original views. So from this one, I'm going to click here and add a headings to the left columns of the grid, and then release it. So we have the heading here, and for these one on the right, I'm going to add this embed features. So just keep in mind that this feature only available when you sign up for the hosting. So you have to pay for the hosting option to have a hosting for your website in order to use this feature. So I already paid it, so I have it here. So let's just simply drag it to the right columns of the grid like this, and then release it. And then it opens up this dialog where you can just paste the embed link that we have on this option here. So remember this, that's not this one. So this embed option, so just click here to copy it, and then go back to the Webflow and just simply paste it here, and that's it. Just save and close, and now you can see that the Spline 3D object is being loaded here. Super simple, and it's already working perfectly here. So now what we needed to do is to increase the height of this grid so we can see everything. So let's go here and let's switch to pixel, and maybe let's go with 720 pixel. So something like this would be great. Or maybe it's just reduce it a bit. Maybe 700 is better. Alright, so I'm going to go with this. Alright, so now let's move on to the heading section. So I want this heading text to be aligned in the middle like this, and also like this. Alright, so we have this right in the middle here, and let's scroll down here and then change the font to maybe Merryweather's, or no, maybe Montserrat, which is better, and increase the size to 80s. Alright. So now let's just type in whatever that we want to tell here. So maybe integrate 3D to Webflow, right? So here we have this headline here, and for the body text, I'm going to paste this to this heading section here. But we want this body text to be in a smaller font size and different style. So all you have to do is to select the body text, and then click on this brush button here, and it will create a text span where you can apply a different text class to this particular areas. So let's call it body text, and then let's scroll up here to the text properties and reduce the font size to 18, and then also let's select the normal font instead. So we have something like this. So it's pretty much close to the design now. So now let's apply the same for the headline. So let's create another text span for the headline and call it heading 1. So we have two text span for this particular headline. So this is body text and this is a heading. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is to maybe let's select this headings here, so everything, and reduce the width size to 400 pixel, so it could squeeze the text area like this. So it's really close now. All we need to do lastly is to adjust the line spacing of this text. So let's go to adjust the line spacing of the overall heading to 0, and then let's select heading 1 and increase the spacing of the heading ones is maybe 18. No, maybe it's like 75, or maybe even like 70 is better. Alright, so the headline is looking good. So now let's increase the line spacing of this body text. So I'm going to give it 10. So we have something like this. So I think it's looking pretty good now. So the last thing we need to do is to apply exactly the same thing that we did on the header to the footers. So I'm going to time lapse this so we can save some time, but you already know the process. Alright, so it's looking good here. So you can click on this I button up here to preview everything. So as you can see that this 3D interactive element is being integrated seamlessly to this hero banner, and it's working like magic here. So that's the end of my tutorial today. So I hope you find this one helpful, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more contents, and I will see you in the next one.